Working a full 9 to 5 job, it already feels like there aren't enough hours in the day. Add YouTube on top of that, and most people think it's just flat out impossible. And so in today's video, I would like to share with you my top 5 time management strategies that allow me to do YouTube on top of working a full-time job, all without burning out. Before we get into it, if you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Cooper, and I'm a recent college graduate documenting my journey as well as giving advice to you all here on this YouTube channel. So if that is something you are interested in, feel free to stick around. All right, let's get into it. To provide a little bit of context, I currently work a 9 to 5 full-time day job, all while posting on this YouTube channel twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. And the thing that has allowed me to be able to stay consistent in this effort without burning out is my use of smart systems and smart strategies. And so I promise, if you are someone who's looking to either start a hobby, it doesn't have to be just YouTube, on top of your full 9 to 5 job, I promise that at least one of these tips might be the thing you need to help get that going for you. So my first time management strategy for you all here today is to write down your 3 MITs, most important tasks, every morning. And a common problem that a lot of us face is that we start our days without, coming up with a game plan. We go headfirst into the day without a strategy, a line of attack to set us up for success. Now, if you were, let's say, a football coach and you had a game the next day or the next week, you wouldn't wait until the day of the game to not even just come up with a plan, but you wouldn't dive into the game headfirst without mapping out your plan of attack and your strategy for beating the other team, beating your opponent, and tackling the day, right? And so you wouldn't do that. And so it's no wonder, we go around today, we ask ourselves, well, how can I be more productive? How can I be more efficient with my use of time? And I think that's where this strategy really comes in handy, is if you wake up every morning and you just write down your 3 goals, your 3 to-dos, your 3 main points of attack for the day, it automatically increases your chances of being efficient, being productive in that day. Say by the end of the day, you cross all 3 off, boom, you just wrote down 3 things and you got them all done in one day. You can keep track of it, and that way throughout the course of the days and the weeks and months, as you keep doing that, you can keep track of your goals and see how far you've come. And there's some really good research out there that helps back this fact. And there's a McKinsey study done that shows that task prioritization boosts productivity by up to 25%. So it's not just me, talking out, my rear end here. This is a point that's been backed up by everyday research. Moving on to my second time management strategy, and that is to block out your week. Start going through and developing a schedule and a calendar that shows every single day in block format and the hours on the y-axis. And you'll go through and you'll color code the times in which you do certain things, and you'll label those as such, so work, sleep, eat, workout, YouTube, right? And so by doing this, you create essentially appointments for yourself. We schedule appointments for things like doctor appointments. We schedule things for dentist appointments, right? Appointments by definitions are things that we block out under our calendar so we don't miss them. And so if you're someone who runs into the issue of, lacking time management skills, make everything in your life an appointment. Have a set aside blocks of time throughout the day, throughout the week, to put energy towards those things. And if you do that, you write it down, you'll have an increased likelihood of actually following up on your internal promises, that accountability that you've now set for yourself. And another reason for me personally why this works is I'm a very visually oriented person. I hate writing things down on paper. I love to just, keep track of everything mentally, but it seriously really does help me a lot when I can visually see my week mapped out, in colors, and I can see what's coming up. I can set notifications in my phone so I know that, hey, this block of time, whatever you're working on this moment, is coming to an end in the next 30 minutes, and the next up is XYZ, right? But the point is that, blocking out, like being able to see it visually, I create a better map in my head, and it alleviates some stress off of me, knowing that I no longer have to, keep track of everything internally. It's something that is external, and I can use technology to help hold me accountable and be more efficient with my time. Building off of that last strategy, my third time management strategy for you all is to eliminate and automate small tasks and find ways to consolidate tasks. And what I mean by this is, I just want to open with a stat. People waste 21.8 hours per week on low value tasks, according to Harvard Business Review. And so the main takeaway from that is learning how to remove and cut the waste from our day-to-day, calendars and schedules, right? So many of us, in order to try to feel productive, we fill our day with these low value tasks, things that can be easily done and easily be automated. Additionally, we spread out these thin tasks throughout our days and our weeks in order to feel like, we feel a sense of accomplishment that day, when in fact we can be way more productive if we, first mapped it out and then see, the commonalities. Oh, I'm doing this task, 3 days a week. Like, can I like consolidate? Is this something that's small enough and it can be done in like a batch setting? So something like filming YouTube videos or creating thumbnails. Before, I was just doing it the day before. Now I could do that, but now I've split. I have 2 individual sessions for doing the same thing, if that makes sense. And so a better alternative would be to, in one sitting, brainstorm ideas for the next 2 weeks worth of YouTube videos, and then find a time to perhaps batch record them, batch shoot and edit thumbnails, things of that nature that help consolidate and to sort of automate these small tasks with systems. Time management strategy number 4 is to protect your energy and prioritize recovery. And so productivity isn't just about doing more and going ham on everything. It's also about sustaining energy. It's no good to have these spikes of energy, these spikes of motivation and action, and then immediately drop off and just to go back to where you were before you had the spike. It's no use to be inconsistent in that manner, right? And so it's important to also think about how we can sustain, and to think that, small wins every day do add up and lead to exponential growth. And I think on the flip side of this is talking about the recovery aspect. As we be more, productive, in our lives, finding times to recover, because as we're more productive, we use more brain power. Thus, we need to recover through things like sleep. Sleep is such an essential part of our lives. We spend a third of our lives doing it. And so it's important to get your full 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night if you want to be efficient. And that's because sleep deprivation reduces productivity by up to 30%, according to a RAND study. And so, kind of closing out this point here, burnout kills consistency, and consistency is everything when it comes to productivity. And so to avoid the burnout, you can't just have the massive spikes in energy. You need to prioritize the sustained, consistent effort. And last but not least, my 5th time management strategy is to realize that you can't do everything. You have to realize that we only have 24 hours in a day, right? And so that's the amount of time we get. That's the amount of time we are allotted to play with. We can't get more without taking it and adding things to the next day. So 24 is all we got. So we have to choose. Productivity by its nature is prioritization and choosing, to do certain things above others. And so you do need to come up with, a priority list for things you need to tackle. And so it's going to come down to, facing hard choices, and to, facing, um, um, the trade-offs, right? And so things like, Netflix versus work on this side hobby tonight, or, like mindlessly scrolling or choosing to go to bed a little earlier. So things like that, facing the trade-offs, because we all face them every single day. There are certain things we can choose to do. Everything is the choice, and we have to learn, what is actually going to be beneficial and add to our productivity. And so I just want to close out with one last quote. I've said this before, but again, from Warren Buffett, the GOAT, quote, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." And with that, those are my top 5 time management strategies. If you're someone out there who's balancing a job and a side hobby, you're doing great. I'd love for you to comment down below and tell me your story. And I just want to say that, if you're struggling, I promise implementing the right strategies will make it possible. And so that's all I have. If you found anything of value from this video, feel free to stick around on my YouTube channel, where I post new videos every week on Tuesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Godspeed.